Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Beautiful Start Podcast YouTube channel, and it's me, Antoinette. And yes, I'm back again. I'm on the East Coast, so we getting a lot of bad weather. So I was just on live, but I don't know, I got booted. But tonight's topic is how to leave a relationship without telling your partner. Now, leaving a relationship is um is definitely something that you have to come to terms with. If you feel as though you're no longer getting anything out of this relationship, right? You getting you know, like you are no longer satisfied, you are no longer happy, and you want to move on, because the reality is that sometimes within relationships we grow apart, you know, and that's okay. But it's good to have that conversation with your partner and let them know, like, yo, I no longer want to be in this relationship no more. Pretty much breaking up with them to have a civil conversation. But when you can't have a civil conversation with that person, when it is abusive, when this person is trying their best to manipulate you into staying into the relationship, or try to convince you, or you know do all these tactics and trying to keep you in a relationship, then you have to go another route, right? Sometimes you have to plan on your own, right? And it may sound so mean and so cruel, but the reality is you just have to deal with some motherfuckers that way. That's just how I gotta put it, because I feel as though, like, especially if, a woman is in an abusive situation where this person is very, like, don't know how to have a civil conversation. Anything you say could be a trigger, and they want to fucking put their hands on you or curse you out. And sometimes it can result into this person breaking your things, breaking your valuables, right? Someone who has a temper issue, right? Like, how could you tell a person that has a temper that you want to end a relationship? Like, this motherfucker is getting mad because of some dumb shit. Like, if this person could get easily angered by something that is so petty, something that is so small, you telling him that you want to leave him could be a whole nother trigger. You know what I'm saying? So it's like dealing with that kind of situation, dealing with, it could be, someone who just is a needy person. You know what I'm saying? Like someone who's in a relationship because they don't know how to survive on their own, and they look to you for everything. You know what I'm saying? You got to be this person parent. Like, a relationship is not me, you know, guiding somebody and being a parent and telling them what the fuck to do. You know what I'm saying? You got people like that, and then they try to be manipulative and trying to keep you to stay, like, oh, well, how am I going to make it? You do everything for me. Like, trying to convince you and make you feel sad about the choice that you're making. Like, try to make you go on a guilt trip, right? To avoid all that shit, right? To avoid someone trying to talk you out of why you should stay, why you shouldn't leave, or why you shouldn't end the relationship. Just fucking bounce. And for people out there who don't know what bounce mean, that means leave, pack your stuff, get your shit, and get out. That's all that means, right? But you could do it in a strategic way, because at the end of the day, like, starting over is just starting over, right? And it's like, sometimes when people get into relationships, right, they feel so strongly that they identify with this person, like this person is a part of them, and they can't see life without this person, or they grown accustomed to having this person in their life. And it's like, when things don't work out, that idea of that attachment with that person can make you stay in a situation that you no longer want to be in. You feel me? So it's like changing the way you see the situation, right? Because at the end of the day, we are growing, we are evolving, right? And sometimes we grow together with beings and sometimes we don't, and that's okay. But even though when people do grow apart, right, they could acknowledge it collectively, like come to some agreement with what's going on, and can have a civil conversation or a conversation about what's going on, that the relationship is changing, and whether or not if, they, you know, whether or not if it's working, right? Some people could mature adults because a lot of times people are not mature. Like they're not mature and they can't have mature conversations, and they just can't. They can't have mature conversations. You know what I'm saying? Some people are just avoidant beings and they don't want to acknowledge certain things, right? And there's people out there that can acknowledge that shit. It's women out there that are in great positions to go to their spouse and have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of us, some of us, we can't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we with somebody that's a fucking is a ticking time bomb. Like any fucking thing will set them off, right? And it's like you no longer know this person. You know what I'm saying? That's when that growing apart factor goes into it. Like this person done change, right? Because it's like sometimes you think you guys grow together, or at least understand each other more, you know what I'm saying, as you get older. But sometimes, like in relationships, it doesn't work like that. Sometimes y'all become enemies, and it is what it is. And I don't want to say enemies as such a strong term, but some relationships become very toxic. And sometimes it's not one or the other. It could be both of y'all. You feel what I'm saying? But and sometimes it could be a totally different type of situation. But for you, when you think about your life and planning for your life, and do you want this person to continue to be in your life? As we do like certain assessments on ourselves, we could assess what's going on around us, like the relationships and the different things that is going on. Like, do you want to be a part of it anymore? And if you don't want to fucking be a part of it, a part of a relationship, and this person's a ticking time bomb, he or she or whatever, whoever you're in a relationship with, you feel me? Like, you gotta make that decision. Like, do I need to really leave this relationship without telling this person? Is that the safe route for me to go? Is this the best decision for me? You gotta come up with that. But those are some ways, those are some situations you could look at in terms of making the decision to move on and not tell your spouse like, yo, it's over. Like, it's kind of like ghosting a person, but ghosting and never fucking coming back type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that you got to decide. I understand there's people out there that's going to be like, oh, well, I don't because it's like, we are all different. Like, there's a lot of women who listen to me that never been in an abusive relationship, that don't know what it's like to be with someone, in a house with someone, and you're walking on eggshells. Literally, anything could turn into a physical altercation. You know what I'm saying? And there's some woman out there who never experienced that, who could listen to this and be on the fence and feel like, well, how is it that you're going to end a relationship and move on without telling that person? You know, their mindset will be different because they don't know, you know, in terms of that. And there's some motherfucking chicks out there who never been in an abusive relationship and who just be out like, I'm done. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the guy is not really, hasn't did anything, and they just bounce, you know. But there's women out there, a lot of us, you know, we gotta kind of watch how we end these relationships, because motherfuckers start becoming stalkers and start being crazy, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, a lot of women out there is losing their lives, you know what I'm saying? Like, because of this shit. Like, some guys don't like fucking rejection. Don't like rejection. Don't like ending. Don't like not having control. I'm going to put it like that. And that shit, and they blow up. And it becomes a whole nother situation. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you look at abusive relationships. Like, this dude can't even take you wearing tight jeans. Like, you're going to tell him that you no longer want to be in a relationship with him? And you think that shit going to go smooth? And it's going to go like it's going to be like an episode, like an episode on TV, like a TV show, like it's going to go smooth and he going to just leave and be sad. Like, some dudes just be turning up. Like, you ever hear, like, I don't know, I'm in New York City, so it's different in different areas, but I pretty much feel like, you know, some men with certain characteristics, you know, it's the same. Like, it's the same everywhere you fucking go if you're dealing with these kind of people or whatever. So, like, you hear about them stories about how women be just chilling, you know, probably hanging out with their friends or going to parties, and you hear about this guy whistling for a woman or trying to talk to her, like, oh, ma, let me holler at you for a minute. You know, that's how they do it out here. They be like, hey, yo, ma, let me holler at you for a minute. Hey, yo, shorty, like, you know, like. And some dudes can't take rejection. Like, literally, women have been assaulted for not speaking to men. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, when you're in relationships with men who are like this, then that becomes like a problem in terms. You feel me? Like, you're in a relationship with a fucking psychopath. And you think he gonna take that shit lightly, that you're breaking up with him? Nah, absolutely not. But let's get back to the topic, right? So, leaving a relationship without telling your partner. First of all, the number one thing you want to do is plan. You want to have a plan of action, right? And you don't want to create a plan and leave that shit on the table for him to figure that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about his schedule. Like, if you and this person live together, start to figure out his schedule. Get his schedule down packed, because at the end of the day, we are creatures of habit. The shit that you typically do on one day, that's the same shit you're going to be doing on the next day. You know what I'm saying? So you got to get his routine down packed. Whether when he go to work, how many hours is he staying at work? Is he working 4-hour shifts? Is he working 8-hour shifts? If this dude own a business and he going for like 24 hours out of the day or 20 hours out of the day, you got to figure that shit out. Or if he's some broke ass nigga, you know what I'm saying? Some broke ass dude, you know, and he's just sitting on welfare and shit, or he get SSI, but you know, every day for 2 hours he leave the house. You got to get shit down pack, you know what I'm saying, where you could start planning and leave, right? And when you leave, ladies, you got to definitely go somewhere where this motherfucker ain't going to know, like, he not going to know where you at type shit, right? And if y'all don't fucking live together or whatever, you know, block his ass on the phone. Just stop answering his calls. You feel what I mean? You feel me? Stop answering his calls. Stop, you know, letting him in. You know, you still got to be cautious, right? In terms of that, right? So let's say getting back to you guys living together. If y'all live together, you gotta definitely figure out his schedule so that you can leave. And you leave, first of all, you gotta plan. You gotta have somewhere to stay or somewhere to go. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have somewhere to go. Like, you feel me? You definitely gotta have, like, whether, like, let's say if he don't know where your moms live at and you want to go stay with your moms for a couple of days, or if you have money, you could get your own apartment, you know. If right now, you know what I'm saying, you got to think about that shit. Like, if you've been relying on him for your source of income, then you got to start thinking about, like, oh, can I get a job? Can I get my own income? Because I know a lot of times, you know, what keeps women in situation is because the relationship is a part of their survival. So when you think about survival, right, because I got to, you know, break this shit down for a minute, right? Survival is how you take care of yourself, like the roof over your head, your home, you know what I'm saying? You need a warm place to stay, some food, clothes, you know, money to get like your daily dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? The shit that you just like, if you're the type of person that always like to eat out, like having money for shit like that, you know, or if you got a shopping little addiction and you want to go shopping and shit, like, you know, like survival, right? Clothing, like food, a shelter, you know. And if this man is providing all that and you fucking tired of this motherfucker and you don't want to be with him no more, then you have to think about a source of income. Like, how are you going to get it, right? And let's keep it a buck, right? Sometimes that takes time. That shit is not an overnight thing, right? Because even when you fill out a job application, sometimes it takes these motherfuckers 2 weeks to get back to you with a job interview. And then, you know, when you get the fucking job interview, ain't no telling who else is, you know, going for the position. You know what I'm saying? And still that takes time, right? So I know that's why when you think of, you know, these different organizations out there, you know, that are geared towards helping women, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're fleeing a dangerous situation, a dangerous relationship, right? All that shit, trying to get a fucking job and trying to do all that shit, fuck all that shit. Take your ass to the nearest domestic violence shelter or your local shelter in your city. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, yeah, you could plan, right? But if every night this dude is smashing your head in, like, come on. You feel me? Like, sometimes you could flee a situation and just get shelter and just get going somewhere and having sheltering. Even if you have to stay with someone temporary, like you stay with somebody for like a month or so or 2 months, but you give yourself a time limit or whatever. And within that time limit, you're getting yourself together and seeing what resources are out there for you, like what job opportunities or how you can make money on your own. Because at the end of the day, we have certain talents and skills that we possess, that we innately have, and then those are and some of the things that we have actually learned and acquired through our lives, right? But just leaving, leaving a situation and working on yourself, right? Because it doesn't even have to be an abusive situation, right? And if it's not an abusive situation, like, you got time, like, fuck out of here. Like, I know a lot of women out there have been totally miserable, like, since they did this whole lockdown, like almost 2 years ago or whatever. Like, and I say this lockdown because at the end of the day, like, yes, everything is open back up. Yes, everything is, semi back to normal. It's like shit ain't really never the same. Like, it's just not the same. Things aren't the same. And, some people just don't fucking want to be with their motherfucking spouse no more. And that's fine. It's alright. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got all this life to live. Like, we have, more experiences to have. Like, I my thing is I want to see people happy. I want to, always be happy, like, in terms of like doing the things that bring joy, that are all about uplifting, right? And it's like, if I'm in a relationship, I want to be able to uplift my partner and, add value, and vice versa. Like, the way I care for my partner, I want them to care for me in that way, right? And the way I respect my partner is the way I want him to respect me. You feel what I'm saying? But when a person no longer respects you, when a person is throwing fucking like dirt on your name, painting you out to be a fucking beast and shit, but still trying to fuck you and still trying to be up under you and just creating all that fucking chaos, you know what I'm saying? That's when you gotta like cut ties and be like, yo, fuck that shit, yo. And you gotta bounce. You gotta be on some shit where, you ain't putting up with it on some dead serious shit, like, because some people just like, they like to be in a, I don't understand how you could be in a relationship, right, with somebody and fucking like hate their guts, like, type of shit. Like, I don't understand that shit. Like, I don't get it. It reminds me of the time, right, I was somewhere. It was like an office building and shit. And it was like, just people in there doing like business shit or whatever. The shit, taking care of their business affairs, taking care of their affairs. And this guy, he come in there with his woman. Clearly, that this is his woman because of how they are on each other, and how they came in holding hands, and, she like on him and whatever, right? So so they came in and they sat down, whatever. And it was a cluster of us, right? But it was majority women and shit. And So this woman got up because they called her name. Yo, soon as she went to the back, yo, this dude was talking mad shit about her. I was like, yo, he was talking mad shit about her, and I'm like, that's your lady, and you talking mad shit about her to these women right here because you just trying to holler at these women. That shit was just that was the most craziest shit I have ever seen in my life. And it was just like, I was sitting there, I was just being observant. Like, because sometimes, like, when you in public spaces, you could watch people and just see how some people maneuver, right? And it's like, how will you guys are operating in a relationship, right? And then you have one person just talking shit about you, but they kind of like smiling in your face and backstabbing you. I guess like they're the backstabbers. But that shit was crazy. And what's so funny about it is, right, I think us women, we naturally have like intuition. We just naturally know shit is off, right? So when she came back out, she just looked very different. Like her energy was different. It's like her shit was off. And it's like I felt like she could pick up on this shit. Like she knew it was kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like she kind of picked up on that shit. But I don't know. I just feel like with that situation, that shit is crazy. But, I feel like in due time, like people who be on that fake ass shit within relationships, like you could tell, right? You'll know, like after a while, like you could pick up on certain shit. And you can know whether or not, like, because at the end of the day, in a relationship, y'all both are kind of like using each other in a way, but not to the extent of like hurting each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, most people are in relationship because what? They want companionship, they want sex, they want to do things together, but talking shit about your spouse, talking shit about the person that you're laying down with, like you guys are supposed to be like very strong together. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, yeah, I don't want to say y'all against the world, but it's like y'all against the world, like type of energy, like, like working together and shit. And when you can not work with your fucking partner, or, a lot of people say this word bill, right? I don't like to use that, but like in agreement with each other, like, and a lot of times that should be off. It be off a lot of times. And when you no longer want to be in a relationship, that's your fucking right. That is your right. So basically creating a plan to leave. And whether if you give yourself, like, I'm going to give myself a month to leave or 2 weeks to leave or whatever amount of time, like if it's something where your life is in jeopardy, fuck that, leave ASAP. But anything outside of that where it's just like, okay, this dude, I don't really want to fuck with him, but he treat me good and all that shit, but we haven't been communicating, or he does things that fucking nag me and I don't want to fuck with this motherfucker no more. But he does pay all the rent. He does give me money every fucking week when he get paid, and he does treat me good. I stay around for 3 months. It gives me time to get my own job or stack up the money that he's giving me so I can get my own shit, type of shit. But kind of like coming up with whatever plan that, is suitable for you, you know. But and it has to be a deadline, because at the end of the day, if you don't have deadlines, then shit is you're gonna be forever leaving this motherfucker, and there's never gonna be an end goal to it. And so that's what it gotta be. But yeah, and staying focused, like like I said, like you have to put an end goal to it. Don't get caught up in that talking about it and shit. Like, get out of the talking about that shit and get into like being active about it. On some dead serious shit. Like, and I'm talking about this, from experiences, from, being observant and shit, I ain't gonna front. I had to cut off quite a few motherfuckers, like, because it's just was like, let me tell you something. Some dudes be fucking crazy, yo. Like, and I could pick up on that shit. Like, I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, some of these dudes out here be fucking a motherfucking a little bit away from being in a motherfucking psych ward. And I just feel like, sometimes we could get caught up in our emotions and our feelings and the lust and like, thinking about what this person is saying or doing that's making us feel whatever, right? But then, like, when you get out of that fog shit, like, because I ain't going to front, like, it feels good, like, you know what I'm saying? But, like, when you start, like really taking apart shit, because motherfuckers are like that boost themselves up, like, and make it seem like they are something that they're not, right? Because sometimes people just like to talk shit and try to make it seem like, they're gonna give you exactly what it is that you want, right? But they really don't do that shit. All they do is just fucking talk shit. You know what I'm saying? And of course you could figure that out, because if a person gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna take you here, or I'm gonna do this, and then push come to show, then they don't do that shit, then it's like, yo, you're full of shit. Like, straight up and down, like, yo, you're full of it. You're full of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and some people just like, they get caught up in the excuses and shit. I used to hear a lot of women make excuses for men and shit, for the shit that they not fucking doing. They start making excuses. They start believing the excuses that the man's giving. You know what I'm saying? And they like justify that shit. But any fucking hoe, leave any relationship that, no longer benefits you, that you no longer want to be in. But I understand a lot of people always talk about, being a dude, ride or die and shit. Like, you hear that shit tossed out there a lot. Like, oh yeah, you gotta be a dude, ride or die. But there's a lot of motherfucking bitches that's in prison who was dudes, ride or die. And right now, they in there alone, in there with no support, in there, and that dude is not even checking for them at all. You feel me? Like, that dude is not even checking for him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, a lot of times, you know, us as women, we like to be everything to our men, or like do all this shit for them, right? But then when it's time for you, it's time for you to get, like, you know, support, or when, you know what I'm saying? That's just like a woman, right, who values family, right? Because there's some good ass women out there when it comes to relationships, right? Because, you know, right? So if you have a woman who sacrificed her career, yeah, that's the flash flood warning and shit. Yeah, that was a notification on my phone. Yep, it's you know, because I'm on the East Coast. I'm in the New York City area, so it's flooding and shit. There's a notification. You know, I don't think I'm gonna make any runs to the store or whatever, like, but if I need to go to the store, like, I throw on my rain suit, like, and just bounce, like, cause I'm like, I understand it's raining and shit, you feel me? But if I need something from the store, I'm going to the store. Rain, sleep, nah, let me stop. Anyway, yo, that fucking notification kind of threw me off. Alright, so you have women out there that be riding, dying for dudes, and they sacrifice a lot. They sacrifice their career, they sacrifice their time. You know, some women even sacrifice their bodies in terms of, like, they don't want to give birth, they don't want to have children, you know what I'm saying? But because their spouse want to have a child, or their partner want to have a child, then they be like, okay, you know, I'm gonna do that for you, you know what I'm saying? And that happens, you know. And it's like, then you have, you know, women who, you know, sacrifice their career, and they give up on their career, they give up on their schooling, and they give up on a lot of things for these men. You know, I knew some women who just got up and left to a whole nother motherfucking state for a man, you know, and his dream and his goals. But when it was time to, you know, help their spouse with their dreams and their goals, help the woman with their dreams and their goals, these dudes didn't give a fuck. They was out. They was straight up and down out, and they don't care, you know. And not to say that that's everyone's story, because remember, we all have different stories and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I know y'all motherfuckers out there gonna be, oh, well, you know, that's not everybody. You know, y'all motherfuckers, I know I'm gonna get a lot of flag. You know, because I don't understand that, right? On YouTube, like this right here, this pretty much is for the women who want to leave a relationship without fucking telling their partners, right? You have people that don't even have any interest of this topic, that don't even care, but they want to come and debate, or they want to come and give their fucking 2 cents in terms of why they against that. I don't give a fuck about if you don't agree with what I'm saying. That's your business. You know what I'm saying? Take from this video what you want to take from it, and the rest, whatever, you know? The thing about people is that they like to debate. Like, those people who like to debate and like to argue about what you're doing on your fucking platform, life is horrible. They ain't got shit going on for themselves. Straight up and down. But don't be that woman who give up everything for a man, and then at the end you ain't got shit to show for it. Because let me tell you something about these men, ladies, right? When they ready to fucking bounce, when they say they done, these motherfuckers is done. That shit is a done deal. That shit is sealed. Like, A lot of times y'all women is weak. Y'all keep taking these fucking men back that ain't fucking shit. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and like, oh, I'm pointing the finger, because I've been that woman plenty of motherfucking times. That's why I could fucking sit here and talk about that shit, right? Because I'm not gonna sit here and act like, oh, I never did no fuck shit back in my day. You feel me? But you keep taking these dudes back. Oh, they giving you this. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all women out there is falling for the okey doke, like the the um the sweet nothings in your ears. Like, niggas will say any fucking thing. Y'all pussy wet. Y'all ready to fucking just throw it all and throw the towel in, like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And y'all falling for whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then soon as these motherfuckers leave you, they fucking leave you. And there's nothing that you can say to ever bring them niggas back. And that's a motherfucking fact. Like, and that's what you gotta start looking at. And that's why you be seeing motherfucking women out here fucking looking crazy. Cause they man left them, and they fucking left them for good. And they never came back, and they with another motherfucking woman. You know what I'm saying? So when you make the choice to leave a motherfucker, leave for fucking good. Don't keep bouncing back and forth. You feel me? Like a motherfucking basketball. But hey, it's your life. Do what you feel you want to do. You feel me? Do what you want to do. It's your world, honey. Okay. Anyway, I know I have a lot of work that I gotta do tonight, and I'm just so grateful. I just recently got a lot of new subscribers here at the Beautiful Star Podcast YouTube channel, and I'm so grateful for you guys. Yeah, I just want you guys to know that every Wednesday, like, I try to be here all the time every Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? 11 p.m. But when I'm not here, it's probably some technical difficulties, or yeah. And but for the most part, when I am live, I'm definitely live on Wednesday. It will definitely be on a Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are in another state or another country, definitely use a time zone converter so you can know when it's 11 p.m. where I'm at. You can know what time it is in the state or country you're from, right? And I want you guys to definitely subscribe to this YouTube channel, and definitely turn on the notification button so you can know when I post a video, because I'm definitely going to start posting videos on this platform, because I'm just going to start doing that. And like you guys know, every Wednesday I will be live here, and I want to do some plugins real fast for you guys. So every Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, I do a mindset for manifestation. Learn how to tap into the power of your mind to get what you want out of life. And also, I run Get Back to Me, Get Back to Life monthly empowerment group that's only for women only. So definitely look in the description box and click the link to find out about the weekly course and the monthly group, and definitely sign up for that. I thank you so much for listening, and ladies, stay empowered and do